What's going on, world? Boss, I'm back, family. Got a great show for y'all tonight. We back on Sheep Stay Sleep Live. Sleep Live. Y'all know me, DS1 Ross. Um, Shout out to everybody, all the supporters. Shout out to people who gonna continue to support me and who has so far. Very, very much appreciated. Tonight got another great show. Tonight we're gonna be talking about group economics, um, financial literacy, and the 70-30 rule with Brother Rob. Shout out to the brother. He has a great PowerPoint that he shared with me at one point, and me and him chopped it up, and I definitely felt like this is some information that should be brought to the family. So I'm definitely gonna be dealing with that tonight, family. So tuning in again, and we'll be with y'all in a second. Hold on just one quick second. Okay, fam, I'm back. Like I said, I got Brother Rob with me tonight. Peace, Brother Rob. How you, bro?
Man, I'm all good, D man, and I DS1, and I appreciate you allowing me to build with the family, man. I'm very humbled by the kind words you had gave me in my presentation. Um, so I'm ready, and
Definitely.
whenever we get a couple more people in the chat or whatever, we can start building. You know what I'm saying? So I'm more than ready. I'm over here bouncing off the walls, actually. You know what I'm saying? I'm really excited.
Well, you know, group economics and financial literacy is very important, because I feel like that's something that generally black people lack. We lack financial literacy. We lack on what we should do with our money. How should we spend our money? Spend out of pain, depression, suffering. A lot of us don't have conscious spending. And I can even say that, even with myself sometimes I could be erratic too. This is why I feel like this dissertation is going to be important tonight, family, because I'm going to break down strategically how we should be spending our money and how it will benefit us. The thing that we have to learn to do, family, is we have to learn apologies to things. We have to stop just going on the whim and doing stuff. We have to have actual methodologies and practical strategies that we can go about and do things effectively. That way, when we could do things, it can affect change in the right way. So I definitely think financial literacy is very, very important, especially today. You know, um, I just got some news yesterday about, Trump is about to start cutting welfare soon. He's by next year, he's gonna start cutting food stamps about 25%, and it's gonna gradually be cut until it reach 25%. He's talking about getting rid of Section 8. What this is what this have to do for us, family, is pissing or getting off the pot. Enough of the excuses. Is no more time for laying around. Hey, daddy, it's time for us to get up, and we gonna have to start are making things work. You know, trying to agree with Trump being the president because he's forcing black people to reunite. Because see, if black women begin to understand that white daddy not gonna take care of you no more, she won't be so quick to throw her man away. The black man understand that he can't run and get no assistance from white daddy at no point, valuing women differently. So, I'm starting to see that in a lot of ways, we're starting to be forced to deal with each other. We're starting to be forced to come back and love one another because that's the only way we're gonna survive, man. So on that, family, shout out to brother Rob again. And get into your presentation, brother. We ready, bro.
All right, all right. Well, one more time, man. I'm very humbled for having the opportunity to show what I have, and just to give a little preface to what I'm about to show y'all. Right. At one point in time, I was a personal banker, and I was out here in the garage. I'm about to because this is my little think tank, you know what I'm saying? I'm usually out here in the garage, but I'm gonna go in the crib and sit at my little desk that I got set up for myself so that I can really focus and get into this thing. Because I want everybody to know at one point in time, I've been in sales. I was in sales for about 15 years before I started working in education. And I left banking because I felt like the bank that I was working for and other banks, everybody is included in this. They take advantage of our financial ignorance. And like I was telling the brother JT and Boss last night that I took a kind of revolutionary stand against selling second mortgages. So for people who don't know what second mortgages are, what it is say for instance you bought a home and the home cost $100,000, right? You then went ahead and bought down or paid on 50% of the principal. So you paid 50% of the loan back, which equals to about $50,000, and then they would give you a line of credit on the equity. And that's a word that we definitely got to get familiar with on the equity in your home. And so I would not sell it. I would not sell it. And as a matter of fact, while I was in the bank, I would literally tell my boss, the branch manager, no, ma'am, we not selling that here. And I mean, people were literally about to sign the dotted line. And then I come over there and say, ma'am, don't do that. And the reason why is because, they didn't get themselves into some financial straits because of their desires not being in line with their goals. And literally, if somebody were to get a second mortgage on their home, and don't have the financial backing to support a second mortgage, they would lose their home if they couldn't pay their loan back. So imagine somebody then went ahead and they didn't, paid 50% of their loan back, and then they can't pay on the line of credit and then lose their house. So I just couldn't do it, fam. And so I just want to show the people, because people be like, man, where's the proof? Where's the proof? Right? So let me show y'all real quick. I don't know if y'all can see that, right? But these are my numbers. Let me back up. Can y'all see that? DS1, can you see that? Can you see that, bro? Well,
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah, I can
okay,
see, bro. I just
good.
asked the chat, could they see it?
Okay, well, good. What you gonna see is all my numbers right there. Let me look at the first my loyalty points. You can see I'm over 100%. Those are people that come back, and then my business customers at 100%. And you can see I was doing numbers. Now, at the very bottom of this page, what you're gonna see is my deposits and the growth on those deposits. So you can see I was doing numbers, and I got a half of a percentage of commission on what I got on deposit with the bank. Not because you got direct deposit, but what you keep in the bank. And I was doing this on 119th and Halsted. If anybody know, on 119th and Halsted, that is the black community where we don't have a whole lot of credit and stuff like that, don't have a whole lot of good credit scores. So you can see I was doing numbers, and I pretty much quit because I wouldn't sell second mortgages to our people. And then that's what led me to education. So, like I said, I was in sales for 15 years. Now I sell education. That's what I sell. But this program that I'm about to show y'all, and I'm about to start sharing my screen in a second. This program that I put together was for people who were in bankruptcy or just needed a basic financial plan. So here I go. I'm about to go ahead and share this screen, and y'all bear with me. All right, boom, there we go. And so now I'm good. Y'all can see it. Just want to make sure everybody can see it before I start talking and everything. Everybody can
Got
see it. You can see this one. All right, bet. The 70-30 rule, and it's basic money management and rules and tools that you got to follow. You got to follow. All right. So what is it? It's a financial plan that's designed to aid individual wage earners, traditional household wage earners, and business owners with a basic and easy to follow money management strategy. That's what it is. It's a strategy. It's a strategy that you would employ with your money. You know. Uh, all right. Crap. So why the need for a plan like this? Everybody needs to have a way to manage their money. So let's say, for instance, you not Black Power, you ain't, forget all of that. Look, we need to focus on practical solutions, and once you got a practical plan on what to do with your money, your lifestyle gonna be better. Next point, the community can thrive if those that are in the community are financially secure. So, if you want to build a strong Black community, the first thing that we have to do is build strong Black families. We have to build strong Black families. And then once we build strong Black families, then we can build strong Black communities. Then we can build strong Black think tanks and businesses. And then we can take those businesses and make them nationalized. And then once it's a national business, then we can go and make it international, Pan-Africanism, right? The next point, no one will fix the problems we see in our community. This is something that I share with my students all of the time. Nobody know your problems better than you. So you are the person that's in a position to fix them. You the problem and the solution. At the same time, you just have to change the way you think. Next point, the need for aggregation of our economic resources is paramount. What is aggregation for people who, might not know? It is just basic collectively us putting our money into a pot to fund a certain purpose or program, right? Very basic. Next point, very, very basic. We are stronger together. If you fall off and I'm still winning, that means I can help you so that you can start winning. And then if we both winning, we stronger, right? Last thing, our kids need to see that they are included in our plans for the future. You have no idea how difficult it is to get a young black person here in Chicago to be, I'm live right now, baby, to be focused on education so that they can check a bag. They're not going to check a bag if they not focused on education. So say for instance, you are a surgeon, right? But you don't have anybody coming to get surgery. Guess what, fam? You went to medical school and you're not going to make any money. You know what I mean? You're not going to make any money because nobody's going to come and have surgery. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're a dentist, you know, an orthodontist, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So our community, our kids need to see that they education, right? They education will get them to the point where they can check a bag. All right. So now I'm about to start breaking down the 70-30, right? The 70 part, right? Everybody in the community needs to learn how to live on 70% of what they make. I'm gonna repeat it. Nobody should be spending more than 70% of what they make. Our counterparts can live on 30-40% because they have trust funds and multiple streams of income. The brother Garfield speak on it all the time, having multiple streams of income. So let's say, for instance, you got a job. What if they fire you tomorrow? What are you going to do? You know, this plan kind of address that as I go along. All right. But when I say live on 70% of what you make, right? Your rent, your mortgage, your lights, your gas, your water, your cable, your groceries, your phone, your internet, shopping, haircuts, going to the hair salon, nails, your car note. And then this is the one thing that people leave out in terms of a bill. Kicking it is a bill. Kicking it is a bill. Now, people can get on YouTube and act all righteous and all of that kind of stuff, right? I know some of y'all got bottles at the crib. You know what I'm saying? I know you got good I know you got good Remy, XO, you know what I'm saying? $70 a bottle, Espolion, all kind of shit. You got it, right? That gotta be part of your bills. And so I put this in chat rooms all the time. Our desires, they must be in line with our goals. If you're talking about an economic revolution for the black community, there's no way we're going to do that if you must have every pair of Jordans. I need the 10s, 11s, and 12s. I'm going to get them this weekend. Well, hell, there go our money for our after school program right there. You see? We got to learn how to live on 70% of what we make. And our desires have to be in line with our goals. Do you know that most of us, we download our desires? They download it now. You know, when you go into the store, you can't even help it. You just gonna go ahead and buy it off of impulse. You know, and that impulse shopping is destroying the black community. You know, it's destroying it. But let me keep moving. The next, you have to learn, and this is where we're about to chop up that 30%. The first 10%, you want to save it, and you want to save it religiously. You're going to do that every time you get paid. Look, it's a brother. His name is AC Green, and he got a radio show here in Chicago. What his plan is for everybody to save the first hour. So let's say, for instance, you make $15 an hour, right? Or $10 an hour, $8 an hour, whatever it is. The first hour of your job, that's what you save. You know, so that's his plan. You know what I'm saying? But overall, you need to be saving at the very least, at the minimum, 10% of whatever you make. A very basic economic rule is to have 3 months in reserve. So if you take those bills I was just talking about and you multiply that by 3, That should be your savings goal. All right. Some of us are older, some of us are younger. Retirement saving is essential, and it's never too early to start saving for retirement. If you 40 years old, you need to be putting away close to, close to, at least, if you ain't started saving for retirement, you need to be putting away about 10 bands a year, and then, adjust it with inflation. If you really believe that, these evil people that's down there in Congress, if you really believe that they gonna have Social Security around when we get up in age, you are fooling yourself. All right, it's many different types of savings accounts. You can get a 401k that's protected from taxes. IRAs, it's also protected from taxes. Money market accounts, this is a checking account that you have to have a certain balance in at all times, and that checking account will accrue interest. All right. CDs, I'm not talking about the CD you play in your car. I'm talking about commercial deposits. Those are going to be on deposit with a bank for a agreed period of time. They got 1 year CDs, 6 month CDs, 7 year CDs. It really depends on how much you can put away and it not hurt you. So that's how CDs can work for you. But I'm gonna move on to the next 10%. The next 10% needs to be invested in getting more money. Investing is something that is not taught in the Black community. It's just simply not taught. If I was to ask people in the chat if they know about a stock ticker that's doing really well, that's a conversation that we're not going to be able to have. All right. It's many things that you can invest in that can make money for you. Stocks, bonds, futures, mutual funds, real estate, insurance, business in our community. It's paramount. It's paramount that we invest in local owned Black businesses. And I'm going to explain as we continue to go. Right. But this is another form of investment. And I use this as an example of investing in your business. Let's say, for instance, you're a barber. If you're a barber, and you want to take 10% and invest in your business, you're going to get the best clippers that they have on the market. You're going to get nice aprons that, to throw over your clients to make sure that the hair don't get on it. And hell, I don't know, it got air conditioning under it or heat under it or something. Whatever you can do, you're going to get some flyers or some business cards to pass out to try to increase your business. You're going to get good smell goods. You're going to get lasers to put around their line and to make sure that you don't mess up. Whatever you can do to increase your visibility and your viability. Those are two things that you must do. Especially if you're a business owner, you must take a portion of that money and reinvest it back in the business. Some people put more, some people put less, but investing, you must do it. It's a principle. All right. And so now I'm about to go to this next one. And DS, this is where we gonna run into a little trouble because people gonna think that I'm crazy for saying this, right? Take 10% and give it away. Take 10% and give it away. Brother Rob, yo ass crazy. I know that's what they saying in the chat right now. I ain't looking at the chat, but I know they're like, man, get the fuck out of here, right? It's the spirit of reciprocation, right? Reciprocation. You ever go to the mall and got them double doors, and then you open the door, and then when they go to the next door, the person opened it for you. Didn't nobody tell them to do it. They just opened it because you opened the door for them. That's reciprocation at work. It's real, and this 10% that we gonna give away. Here go a caveat for people, right? It can reduce your taxable income. Let's say, for instance, you make $30,000 a year. You make $40,000 a year, right? And you give away $4,000, right? Of that $40,000, and the government off the top, They don't ask you for your permission. Off the top, they gonna probably take about $8,000 or so. So your taxable income, if you don't give away that $4,000 that I'm talking about, the taxable income that they're going to tax you on is $32,000. If you give away $4,000 though, like I'm proposing, right? That drops you to a completely different tax bracket. And now you're gonna check a bag come January. I mean, here in Chicago, we call it grown folks Christmas, right? When they get their tax return, you know what I'm talking about? and everybody in the mall balling out, getting them Jordans and good furs that they only can wear for another month or so. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, but the other 10%, right? Some people call it tithes and offering. They go to church and they give away their tithes and offering. If that's what you into, I mean, what I'm asking that you don't do. Don't give Reverend Porkchop the whole 10%. Give Reverend Porkchop 5%, and then take that other 5 and put it into some neighborhood program that you already see making changes and helping kids. Because like I said earlier, our kids have to see that they are included in our future plans. The last point that I want to make this relevant to the fam, right? It will eliminate traditional banks as the first option and sometimes only option if we're trying to open business. It is very difficult. It's very difficult to fund a revolution asking your enemy for the money. You see? And when we go around, we got our hand out, we looking in the sky, we praying, we doing our duas, and man, bro, we got the money. We got the money. And I can further break it down, but we already got the money. We already got it. Look, right? So just to kind of give you a breakdown one more time of this 70-30 rule, and I try to keep it super simple and practical. You know what I'm saying? 70% of whatever you make, you got to learn to live on it. You got to learn how to live on 70% of whatever you make. And please, everybody, kicking it is a bill. That's what it is. Kicking it is a bill. Think about it. You're going to go to the club, right? You're going to get a haircut. You're probably going to buy a bottle. You're going to probably go buy a 3-5. You got to buy a couple of blunts. You got to put gas in the car. When you're going to have a drink before you get there. Then you're going to have a drink when you go into the club. You probably going to buy that young lady a drink. You know what I'm saying? People got habits. You might go and buy you a pack of squares. Before you done came home, fam, you done spent $1.50. You done spent $150. You know what I mean? So you got to factor that into your bills, right? Save 10%. 3 months reserves is a good savings goal to have. And then it's never too early to start saving for retirement. We need to learn how to invest. It's a brother. He got a stream on here. It's called. Dang. I'll give y'all. I'll put it in the chat. I can't think of the tagline, but he got a YouTube page and he talk about stock market investing. But investing, it's important that we do that. And if you want to see some change in your community, you must invest in your neighborhood. You got to do it. And then once again, 10%, take it and reciprocate it. We have to fund our own vision. The enemy is not coming to help us. They're not coming to help us. If they was going to help us, they would have helped us when Booker T. Washington was around. They would have helped us when Martin Luther King was around. These brothers, they wasn't saying kill Whitey. You see what I mean? They were trying to work with them. And if they was going to work with us, they would have been worked with us. They're not going to work with us. We have to work with ourselves. All right? And then if you give away that 10% like I'm proposing, you're going to reduce your taxable income. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. I got some other notes, but, this concludes the presentation. Like I said, it's super practical. It's something that everybody can walk away from remembering tonight. Learn how to live on 70% of what you make. Take 10%, save it. Take 10%, invest it. Take another 10%, and reciprocate it in our communities. You know what I mean? Everybody don't have a 9 to 5. I got some brothers that I work with this same rule, right? They don't have jobs and they're not business owners. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And they trying to set up an IRA right now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to incriminate anybody, you know, by saying what I'm saying, but I'm hoping that people can read in between the lines. I work with anybody that need help. I will work with you. You know what I'm saying? So, that concludes the presentation on the 70-30 rule. But then I got other information that I love to share with the family. And then, I don't want to overtalk the show either. So DS, if you want to, hop in and, play devil's advocate or take questions from the chat, I'll be more than happy to defend this plan. And I feel like if we employ this plan, brother, we're gonna be able to fix our own problems, and it won't take long. It won't take long. I feel like in 18 months, if people that's participating in these live streams, just a small little group of us, if we just did this religiously, fam, I feel like we would be able in 18 months to be able to make a major move and open our own media outlets. You know what I mean? To where we can compete with a CNN or MSNBC or open up after school programs or help Q Butter, out there in Brownsville, what I'm saying, get his thing going. But this concludes my presentation on the 70-30 rule. And my fault, let me get back to here so I can stop screen sharing so hard. But all right, so now I'm back live and back out here in the garage, back out here in the think tank. You know what I'm saying? So there I go, man.
Salute, bro. Great information, man. Sent it to me and I took a look at it. I thought it was genius but it was to the point. Is I feel like a lot of our people are not used to lot, so put it, I love the way you made it short and sweet and to the point, but very heavy in information. I have to ask.
Yes, sir.
So thinking in terms of how our people think, what makes you feel that live off the 70%? Most of us, we live off 90% of our paycheck, barely save anything. We end up broke. So we basically fulfill that stereotype of a job meaning just over broke because the paycheck. Why do you think that hard for us to live off the 30%?
Yes, sir.
My bad.
Yeah, no
the
problem.
70%. Why do you think?
That's a very good question. The sister, her name is Dr. Joy DeGruy. She talks at length about the post-traumatic slavery disorder. And if this doesn't apply to, you per se or people in the chat, all good, But one of the reasons is our insecurity because we are Black, because we are oppressed, because we are oppressed. What we'll go out and do is show people, that, hey, I'm winning, hey, I'm somebody, and so, look at my Jordans, look at my Burberry belt, look at my Gucci, jacket. I mean, I seen a girl, she had some Prada glasses, she had a Michael Kors hat, a Michael Kors bag, And I mean, the sister was sharp. I don't know where the dress was from, because I asked her about her bag and her hat, and I thought, because it was so original, I'm thinking to myself it had to be somebody local that maybe she bought it from, like from one of these boutiques or something, right? But when the sister told me that, I looked at it and I said, well, goddamn, she got on $1,100 worth of clothes. You know what I mean? And so what we doing is we're trying to legitimize ourselves as somebody to respect by buying these labels and living outside of our means. And that's one reason. The second reason would be, just financial ignorance. If you and your wife together, or you and your partner together, y'all make $80,000 a year, it's probably not a good idea to go and buy a $500,000 house, to live next door to some people who don't even want you there. You know what I mean? Like man, we want to move out the hood. We want to move out the hood. We need to stop thinking about that. Stop thinking about moving out the hood, and make the hood someplace to live. Make the hood someplace to viably live. Make the hood someplace where this is where people want to come. You know that, and I mean, those are the two major reasons: ignorance and insecurity. Those are the two major reasons.
That's big,
Mhm.
because a lot of times I do feel like it's a thing of, once we get a check, live in the Hamptons and live in these gated communities, when we should all work to make our communities gated. So, what you saying is a big thing.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
feel like we suffer from that syndrome.
Absolutely.
Joy DeGroot too. I love
Mhm.
that sister.
Mhm. Man, the sister has powerful information. I also feel like they also need to look at Francis Westland's work on it. Marumbi and her work on it. All of those sisters are very powerful in that area in terms of our psychology. Dr. Amos Wilson as well. He speaks about it in a bunch of lectures, and then it's touched on in some of his work. But those sisters go all the way in, and so that's why I referenced them.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, we got one question in the chat for you, bro.
Yes, sir.
A sister asked, um, do you know the difference between IRA, IRA?
Yeah. A plain IRA is an IRA that you cannot borrow from without catching that. It's a 27% penalty that they'll put on the money that you take out. So, a plain IRA, you though that would be money that you wouldn't want to touch until you get, up in age 65, 67 and a half, in that area, um, but a basic IRA, I mean the other IRA, that's an IRA that you can, that you can take money from without penalty. But then keep in mind that it's supposed to be for retirement, so you shouldn't be touching that money anyway. That when I'm talking about saving money, what I'm saying is that money is money that you should forget that it's there. You should forget that it's there because it's savings. You see what I mean? You got to save money, and the only way it's gonna be savings is if you don't spend it. You know.
Right. That's
So
that's well, I guess that was something that we really needed to know, because older people who borrow off of their things, and that wouldn't be smart. So Sis, if you still here, the brother said, Ray, you have a 20%, 27% penalty borrow off of it compared to a plain IRA penalty, but you shouldn't spin off of it anyway because it's for your lifetime savings. You
Mhm.
right, brother.
Yes, sir. And sometimes setting up mutual funds, like say for instance, you're a business owner, and you got employees and things of this nature, setting up a 401k, sometimes it costs the business so much money that instead what they'll do is create a relationship with a bank and have it as an IRA, and have it as an IRA. So, but an IRA, you don't need your employer to set it up for you. That's something that you can go in and set up yourself, And then it's other savings accounts that people can look at, but an IRA is the most basic one.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed you said something earlier, bro, how you know a few brothers who's looking into investing and saving their money legitimately, um a bit, bro, because a lot of brothers in the corporate world that are not necessarily in the working force, but they're actually entrepreneurs and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're, they are, I feel, to spending more, way more than the 70% that they need to because they have an access of, you know, free money basically.
Exactly. Exactly.
So could you go into how some ways those type of brothers could get into legitimate spending and saving? Because I feel like, a lot of them type of people can really help our community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And so, I got, is one of the guys from the area, you know what I'm saying? And I'm what I'm doing is I'm just helping him find different ways to invest money that people know is illegitimate. It's illegitimate money. So what I done did is I done had the brother go and get a car dealer's license, right? And then he's also a paper buyer. All right. So this is what it is. The sister, she wanted to open a bar, but she didn't have the money to get the liquor license. So he puts up the money for her to get the liquor license. She opens the bar, and then he gets a percentage of what she makes after she has clear agreed profit margin. So what it is that the sister, she just recently opened a bar here in Chicago, and the man, put up the money for her to get her liquor license, you know, and so right now the agreement is once she done made 6,500, right? He's gonna get 30% of whatever she make above 6,500. You know what I'm saying? And that'll be for the next 2 years. You know what I mean? And so, man, you know what I mean? She ain't got 10 bands to just pay that man back. She got employees and all of this kind of stuff, and she's still trying to grow the business, and she got to compete with all of these other bars and stuff. So that's just one way that our brothers that don't have 9 to 5 jobs and might have they foot out in the street, so to speak. What they do is they become paper buyers for people who got legitimate businesses. You know what I mean? And I mean, all of it is on the up and up. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is, people just have to be willing to work with a brother and it just got to make sense to him. It got to make sense to him.
Right.
You
Right.
know. I'm talking in code, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm hoping that everybody understand what I'm saying, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to put the
Definitely.
brother, yeah,
Definitely.
I don't want to put the brother business out there, you know?
Oh, definitely not, bro. But
Yeah.
you know, I think the people get it in the chat, and I asked you, you know, could you expound on that a little bit too? Because you know, just being real, man, a lot of brothers that's even, you know, trying to take part in this quote unquote community, you know, they come from different backgrounds. So I just want to be real with the family, and you know, because a lot of brothers I deal with, they not working people. So
Hmm.
I,
Hmm.
I understand that, but these brothers have good hearts and good intentions. So
Right.
I want, you know, brothers like us, brothers that have the information or have the resources to the information, because you a resource, brother,
Hmm.
you know. So we need to be able to get that information to those brothers so they could start making those moves. So, you know, they can make that transition, you know?
Exactly, exactly. Because everybody know what it is when you in the street, bro. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you gonna get caught. You know what I mean? So it's always better to have a backup plan and a transition plan. And so that's what I provide to the brothers who, you know, that's looking to, because some of these brothers got families. Some of their kids
Mhm.
go to my school. You know what I mean? And so, man, I don't judge them brothers. I mean, what they do is what they do. You know what I mean? I'm just trying my best, what I'm saying, to help them out and make them and make the next generation, make them as powerful as they can. You know what I'm saying? However they got the ill-gotten funds or not, you know what I mean?
Right. And that's big because you being from Chicago and you know, I'm from New York, and I noticed how a big of an influence Chicago have had on the world with this drill music. And I noticed that, you know, being that Chief Keef and all those guys and the people around those guys, being that they wasn't properly financially literate, they wasn't able to take drill music and not keep it for us, but to hone in the economics of it and make money off of it worldwide the way that the industry have taken drill music. They've taken drill music, and drill music is mixed with trap music. Now they mixing it with EDM. You know, they creating new genres of music that started out in Chicago. And I
No
feel
doubt.
like, you know, and my brother, shout out to my brother JT. He got a live stream on his channel. Everybody check it out. It's called his channel is The Black Unknown. It's called Leasing Capital versus
Hmm.
Having Capital. And I feel
Hmm.
like that's what happened when we're not financially literate. We
Hmm.
begin to lease our creations out to the world. And then the vultures come and they snatch ownership of it.
No doubt.
You know, because that sound that was created in Chicago, that shit took over the world, bro. We
That's
got brothers, we got young brothers right now, because I stay in tune with the youth. We got brothers in New York claiming they GDs now, claiming they
wow.
black disciples, claiming
Wow.
they stones and four corner hustlers.
Wow.
And then to that music, bro. So,
Right.
and you know, that's not the good part, but the good part about it is what come along with that culture. Music came along with it. So
Mm.
why are we leasing that out to the world? We supposed to own that.
Right.
Chief Keef and Dirk and them, they supposed to own that sound. King Louis supposed to own that sound.
Mhm.
Whenever you hear it, whenever I love about Young Chop, because he basically owns that sound of what he did for Chief Keef. That's why he's so rich.
Right.
He
Exactly.
decided to own, you know, what what they basically created.
Mhm.
So what you saying is big, bro, because I feel like the brothers who was around those brothers and they were street guys, financially literate to say, yo, listen, we gonna do this, we gotta invest in this. So Now that Chief Keef and them is 25, going on 30 years old, they not 17, 18 no more. They not gonna be broke for the rest of their life. Because they still got time to be broke for the rest of their life.
Right.
That's why they was young, getting crumbs from leasing their capital, you know?
Well, look, right, it's four aspects. It's four aspects to any business industry, right? Those four aspects are in this order too: development, production, the marketing, and then the delivery of the product. You know what I mean? And what we have to do as a community is control all four areas simultaneously. We got to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time, you know? So we got to have control of the development, the production, the marketing, and the delivery. That's what Booker T. Washington was building. You know what I'm saying? Life got cut short. You know what I'm saying? That's what Marcus Garvey was building. Life got cut short. You know? Yeah, we could find, it's funny. We could find problems in what they was doing. We could find problems in what they did wrong and be critical of them, and all of that, right? But those brothers built nations. They built nations. And in order to build a nation, you got to have a strategy. Look, right? A goal without a plan is a wish. It's a wish. You know what I mean? Like I give my sons, both of them, they both talented athletes, you know what I'm saying? They take after they pops, you know what I mean? But both of them, right? They play baseball, man. They pretty good, right? And so I explained to them, if they can afford to pay Alex Rodriguez $200 million, how much fucking money do you think they making? You see, we have to learn how to control it from top to bottom. It's called vertical. It's called vertical business marketing. Vertical building. For business. You know,
Mm.
and what you do is you create a market and then you create sub markets under that. You know what I mean? So producers, marketers, promoters, investors, manufacturers, farmers, media, construction, retailers, distribution, service, transportation, high technology, the food industry, finance, banking, real estate. Those are all areas of high growth. All we have to do is get ahead of the curve and collect the money. That's pretty much what you got to do. That's what you got to do. You got to get ahead of the curve and you got to collect the money. You got to check the bag. That's the most important thing. Check the bag, right? How you gonna check the bag if you're not developing the bag? How you gonna check the bag if you're not producing the bag? How can you control, who gonna actually shop with you if you're not controlling the marketing? And then after a motherfucker done spent their money with you, if you're not controlling the distribution, got control over how long it take to get to their front door, if you can't guarantee it, you're going to fail in business. You're gonna fail. That's just hard truth. That's just hard truth. And then I got a litany of things. This is something that I used to share with my business owners. I got a litany of items that the family need to take a look at, especially if they striving to open a business or striving to be a business owner, right? Here, let me flip to it. Look, right? This the reason why my fault, DS. My fault, DS. I was about to go on a tangent, but let me fall back
Go
again.
ahead, bro.
All right, well, bet. These are some of the reasons why Black folks' business fail. Number one, right? We don't have a backup plan. If you go into business, you have to have a backup plan. That's number one. Number two, right? You got to carry yourself now like you a business owner. You got to walk in with some dignity. Why would somebody respect you if you don't respect yourself enough to show up to work with your pants up? You know what I'm saying? To show up to work not high. You know what I'm saying? You can't be running your business and you high as hell. You know, what can I what can I do for you? That's unprofessional. You see what I mean? Next point, right? Right? You gotta always be looking to expand your business. You can't be sitting back, counting money and patting yourself on the back. Don't you realize your competitors see what you doing? He see that you checking the bag. And so now he's going to prepare himself to try to compete with you. So if you're not thinking about expanding your business, eventually you're going to fail, right? Next point, you got to constantly update your technology. You got to constantly do it. If you selling VHS tapes and this man live streaming, your business is going to fail. That's just the example, but you know what I mean? It's a crude example, but you see what I'm saying? You can't be on VHS and he on live streams. That it's impossible for you to compete with him. It's impossible, right? Next point. This is so important, especially for people that got brick and mortar businesses, or you got a social business. You dealing with the public. Number one problem. This is a huge problem, right? Poor listening skills. Poor listening skills. Sometimes your customers will tell you exactly what they want and what they need, and you sitting around complaining about people complaining. They telling you what you need to do in order to get their money so that you can increase your bag, and you go sit there and complain about them complaining. It's ridiculous. So many business owners, they used to be sitting across from me, and I'm just shaking my head at them. Like, damn, the lady told you that if you would just put a little more salt on her fries, she'll come and shop with you every day. And you talking about her blood pressure. Lord have mercy, Jesus. But anyway, all right, keep it moving. Overcharging. Overcharging. Look, I can understand that you want to check a bag as soon as you open a business. Man, hey, I got $500 gym shoes, and you should shop with me because I'm black. Are you some kind of goddamn fool? Are you a fool? That's the question that I ask people. Are you outside of your mind? You can't overcharge people going in. You got to keep your prices low so that you can be competitive with your competitors. People not going to shop with you just because you black. You got to show quality first. All things must be equal. And then once your burgers are just as good as everybody else's burgers, then people will shop with you just because you black. But you can't have burgers that's half cooked and think people gonna still shop with you, because throwing up the fist. Come on, brother. No, it ain't come on, brother. It's cook them burgers to perfection so that people will have confidence in shopping with you. Right? Next point. Oh man. You must keep your politics and religion to yourself.
Whoa.
Keep your politics. You're operating a business. That's what it is. It's a transaction. Don't be trying to preach to the brother and he trying to spend money with you. Just don't do it. It's a bad business practice. Keep your politics and your religion to yourself. Not at your business. That's not the place for you to be on your bully pulpit. You should be as humble as you can when people spending money with you, because they had to go and take some shit from a motherfucking motherfucking probably asshole to get them couple of dollars to spend with you. You should be in a very humble position and not on no bully pulpit, you know, trying to hit people over the head with your politics and your religion, right? Next thing, and I kind of hinted on this point. There are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts. McDonald's can give you one napkin. They're national. They're international, right? But if you in the hood, you got to get them people some napkins, fam. You know what I'm saying? You got to get them a fork, fam. If they done came and shop with you, at least have a plastic fork to give them to eat their food, you know, for restaurant owners, you know. If they done came to shop with you, please don't have them walk out of your business with the product in their hand. And then it would be advertising for you if you were just smart enough to put your business name on the bag. It hurt, man. It hurts sometimes when people try to justify their inappropriate behavior. You know, it hurts sometimes. For people who have brick and mortar businesses, or if you have a social business, you're doing presentations in people's homes, or you know, at venues and things of this nature. Cleanliness is of the utmost importance. It is. There's no getting around it. Okay? You know, that day you probably need to stay in the shower a couple of more minutes. You know what I'm saying? You probably need to have all the smell goods and shea butter that you could possibly have. You only get one chance to make a good impression. You need to be as perfect as you can. The first time all the tables need to be clean. All the chairs need to be clean. All the garbage need to be dumped. And if it's full, don't be pointing fingers. Go dump the goddamn garbage. Why would they come back and shop with you and you don't even want to sweep up the front, you know, the lobby? You don't want to clean the place. Cleanliness is of the utmost importance.
Now, brother,
Yes, sir.
I gotta play devil advocate real quick with that.
Nah, no doubt.
Now, I agree. We definitely should keep our establishment clean. But what about the people who say, well, we shop with the Arabs, and when we walk in their store, they smell like a goddamn farm resort, you know? And we go into these stink ass Arab stores all the time. We go into the Chinese restaurant and they not even eating the shit that they cook for us, but we shop with them. So, you know, why do we have to be so cleanly and give all this extra stuff when they don't do it and they still in business? What do you say to the people who say that, bro?
All right. What I will say to that is, yes, sir. That is a degree of social engineering that has led people to believe or justify that they don't truly hate themselves. They have justified in their mind, you know, they have the ability to accept less and they're perfectly okay with it. There's no way I'm going to buy a burger from a man that smell like he been hooping. And I mean, that's just my personal preference. You know, there's no way that I'm going to shop with somebody who does not have the common sense and decency to present themselves as a business owner. The only thing that I will allow in terms of people outside of our community to make money in our community, the bulletproof glass, you know, that's okay because it's a safety concern, right? But if your store smell like You then mopped it with a sour mop. As soon as I open the door, I'm leaving back out. you know. But our people, somehow, some way, we have justified our inappropriate behavior. Number one, we're spending money with someone who does not spend money in our community, does not invest in our community. All they are really there to do is make money. We turn a blind eye to the money that they're making, and take our frustration out on our brother. And this is what leads to that self-hatred when a black business open. Man, the Arabs got it down there for 5 cents cheaper. You see, and that self-hatred and that inappropriate justification that they've done. So that it's a combination of two things: social engineering, to where we are able to accept less and justify it, and then you couple that with the self-hatred that we all embody, and people can say that they free, and they so super conscious that they don't have a degree of self-hatred. But I mean, that's not the truth. If you walking down the street at 2 o'clock in the morning, there's a brother across the street with a hoodie, you know for a fact that you gonna think that that's your enemy. You know what I mean? That. You know what I'm saying? And I know that. I mean, let's just not, play games. I mean, if we gonna be real about it, that degree of self-hatred is why we have the ability to accept less from somebody who, in their actions hates you, but you still have the gumption to spend money with them. It's you know, um, cognitive dissonance and self hatred mixed together. Because economics, that's a social action. People need to understand that economics is a social action. You know what I'm saying? It's not just you pull the money out your pocket and it's a function of, whatever. No, that's a social action. It's a social action. So I know I was long winded, but I needed to make sure that that point is clear. You know what I mean? But yeah, I thank you for playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, bro. I have to, because that's how our youth is nowadays. They'll listen to us and they'll just come up with these, with these devil's advocate type of questions, just to see if and that's, I think the youth do that just to see if we gonna stand firm in our point.
Yeah,
But
no doubt.
I say that too because what is it gonna take for us to stop supporting these other groups and you know to stop funding our own oppression? Because the other part to this show is group economics, and I feel like we're going towards that way, where I noticed that you don't see too many other groups even supporting black businesses. Like you won't catch a Arab in a Caribbean restaurant. He don't want oxtails and peas and rice.
Right.
But a West Indian guy will go eat some chicken over rice, or go eat some lamb gyro or something like that. So is it really, can we say that culture plays a big part in group economics too, and the way we spend too? Because I notice
Oh,
other groups who have their culture intact, they don't even seek to go and support other businesses.
yeah, no doubt. Here in Chicago, if you go to Chinatown, right, every
Mm-hmm.
business in Chinatown is owned and operated by an Asian. Look, right? Even the mail delivery, they have a central location in Chinatown that the post office delivers to, and then an Asian person is the person that go door to door and drop the mail in the chute. This is not a joke. I'm not making this up. Anybody that's from Chicago know that I'm not lying. And then here's another caveat to that, right? In Chinatown, you're not gonna find a Harold's Chicken. You know, if for anybody who who know anything about Harold's Chicken is good ass chicken here in Chicago. If you come to Chicago, make sure you get some Harold's Chicken. You want to get 6 wings with mild sauce. You know what I'm saying? You don't even want it on the side. You want it on the chicken. You know what I'm talking about? And yeah, you're not gonna find a Harold's Chicken in Chinatown. You know, if you go to Greektown, right? Every restaurant is owned and operated by Greeks. If you go to Germantown, every restaurant is owned and operated by Germans. It's just the truth. That's just the truth. That there's no getting around it. But look, right? Uh, 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 getting to the solution part of the thing. Solutions, right? Home ownership is paramount. If we really want to start our economic revolution, home ownership should be the cornerstone. Why, Brother Rob? Why home ownership should be the cornerstone? Right? Because your primary residence, normally that is the biggest investment that anybody is ever going to make. You know what I mean? That's the biggest investment. So what do you want to do? You want to own it as quickly as possible. And foreclosure, right? Sometimes things happen. Sometimes things happen. If people in the neighborhood would employ that 70-30 rule, you don't let a house foreclose in your community, because if it does, that means your property value is going to go down. And so our counterparts support their neighbors. That's what they do. They gotta trust. And then people go to the trust, borrow the money, and then once they good, right, pay the money back to the trust. So home ownership, it has to be paramount. It has to be first. You know what I mean? We first got to own the communities that we live in. We'll be more prone to cut the grass. We'll be more prone to show up to the PTA meeting, find out who the principal is in the grammar school, in your immediate area. Who's your alderman? Who's your city official? Who's your mayor? All of these types of things. And the reason why that's going to be important is because you're already vested. You know, the next thing is gonna have to be business owner density. Business owner density, right? So if we got a bunch of homeowners, the people who own the businesses in that neighborhood must be from that neighborhood. They must be. You see what I mean? And if the people that own the businesses that live in the neighborhood, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to try to make sure that that neighborhood, got people that live in it that's making some money so that they can come and shop with them. You know what I mean? That got to be paramount. You know what I mean? And then the next thing we got to look at, and these are all things that we can do right away. We can start looking at the numbers, start gathering the data, and we can start doing this tomorrow. You know what I mean? Find out how many homes in your neighborhood. Find out how many were foreclosed on. Find out who's the leasing agent for the majority of these homes. Is it banks? Is it a real estate agent? Is it a leasing company? You know what I'm saying? That's information that you can find out tomorrow. You know what I mean? And then from there, I'm sure it's a couple of empty, vacant businesses, right? Find out what businesses are replaceable. You know what I mean? That Arab that's selling tissue and toothpaste and squares, we can open a business just like his, and all we have to do is not shop there and shop at our shop. You know what I mean? And then boom, overnight, he goes out of business and we start making that money. Once we start doing that, guess what we can do? Start employing our own people. How the hell, right? How the hell are we going to change those unemployment numbers if we don't have businesses that can employ our own people, right? And if that's the case, right, if we're going to have some businesses, right, that can employ our own people, guess what? Somebody in the community got to make a whole lot of money. and we can't be jealous of them. Oh, somebody got to be winning, and we can't be jealous of them because they winning. Somebody had to win to be able to employ somebody else. That's our problem. We start counting each other money. We start counting each other money. Man, fuck them, man. They getting all the money. We can't think like that. I believe in the abundance principle, brother. You know what I mean? I believe in the abundance principle. Wendy's making money selling burgers, Burger King, White Castles, McDonald's, all of them making money selling all the same thing. So I think we could do that too. You know what I'm saying? And move right into their space, still make money. You know what I'm saying? Because of the abundance principle. You know, but you know, let me fall back. Those were just two major points. You know what I'm saying? But the other thing we need to look at too is insurance. You know what I'm saying? There's many different types of insurance programs that you can get into, insurance programs that you can borrow money from, because eventually everybody know that you're gonna die. You know, everybody know that you're gonna die. So you might as well leave your family with that income that you can't make no more once you're gone. That's why you invest in the insurance policy. That's why you would invest in it. You know, you're replacing the income that you're not gonna make anymore once you're gone. You know, so those are just 3 points that I definitely wanted to bring out. And just to review one more time, home ownership, it got to be paramount. Business owner density. The business owners must live in the community that they live in so that they can be financially vested, socially vested, politically vested in those communities. And then lastly but not leastly, everybody should be looking at some type of insurance product, you know, just so that when you die, right, that you can replace that income that you're not going to be able to make, and you're going to do it for future generations to come. And if this generation of people, you know, around our age, if we all invested in insurance, you know, our kids, they're going to benefit from our sacrifice.
Definitely, definitely, bro. And I agree with everything you said, man. And one thing that you said a little while ago that I noticed you was talking about, you know, opening up trust. And one thing I noticed is that a lot of things that we lack, you know, between us as a community is the things that affect us business wise. Like black people don't have a lot of trust funds because we don't trust each other.
Exactly.
That's that's the basis of it.
Mm.
If I don't trust you with my money, or you don't trust me with your money, how do we all, how does the trust run without trust, basically?
Exactly.
And I feel like we don't appreciate each other. That's a business term.
Mm-hmm.
Our money depreciates because we don't appreciate each other.
Man.
So it's interesting how the things that we lack between each other, as far as dealing with communication, is the same things that's killing us financially, which in turn is destroying our community. And why we don't have one. Because black people don't have a community. We just exist. We don't have no community. Because we don't commune. Because we don't properly communicate. So what's interesting, bro, just having this great conversation with you, man, and touching on these topics, man, we getting down to a lot of great things, man. And I feel like if we really want this stuff to work, we have to begin to appreciate each other more. That's when our money will start to grow, because we appreciate each other. We have to begin to trust each other. We always like to talk about banks being crooked, but if we letting other people hold our money because you don't trust your aunt, then I mean, come on.
Exactly, bro. I wholeheartedly agree. And I never thought of it like that. You know what I'm saying? The reason we don't have no trust is because we don't trust each other. And the reason our money don't appreciate is because we don't appreciate each other. Wow. Yeah. Facts, bro.
It's just
You know?
interesting, man, how business, because I hear everybody saying family is business, marriage is business. But now I'm starting to understand why. Because the intangibles is what create the tangible things. If you don't have basic respect in a relationship, nobody's going to respect each other. So nobody's going to respect each other finances, and nobody's going to respect each other's decisions. All those things affect us business wise. It affect us in society. So now I'm really just from us having this conversation, bro, I'm really starting to understand why people say those things, because I hear a lot of people saying it, but they can't really, quantify it. It's just rhetoric for some people.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm starting to understand and connect it and understand why people say that. And those are the things why. Because the basic things of having a family is the basics you need for building a business.
Right. And I mean that's why I started my bill on families. You know,
Hmm.
uh if we don't have families, we can't build communities. And if we can't build communities, we can't build power structures. If we don't build power structures, we'll never be respected politically or economically or socially, you know. And the reason why I bring up politics, black folks always saying, man, I don't get involved in politics. You are involved in politics whether you like it or not, you
Hmm.
know? And politics is the business of spending your tax money. I'll repeat it. Politics, the business of spending your tax money. Um, and if we don't have any politicians that we can hold accountable and responsible for bringing resources back to our communities, we gonna continue to start from square one. These are some facts. Black income is up, but black wealth is down. How is this possible? Right? Because Burberry fucking $300 belts. Right, right. Because we going around driving in 745s when we really supposed to be in a Camry. You know, at the end of the day, our desires have to get in line with our goals. Here, this is some research that I did. I'm just looking at this note I took, right? In the 1940s and in the 1950s, black people had a larger percentage of net worth, but we was making less money. We was like 53% of them black people, right? They worked in people houses cleaning up and taking care of their kids. Yes, 53% of them. 53% of them. The reason why they had more net worth is because the money that they made, they invested it in homes. And that's why we was able to grow up in communities. They just after they passed that civil rights bill in 1968, right? It galvanized all white people. They stopped looking at themselves individually. I'm Italian. I'm Polish. I'm European. I'm this. I'm that. Right? And they just looked at themselves as a block. Why? I'm white. You're black. You see?
Right.
And I'm talking about politically and economically, right? They already had the mechanisms in place, you know? Like if you want to be a pipe fitter, you have to join the union. The only way to join the union is to be invited by somebody that's in the union. So the Good Old Boys Network, that got busted up here in Chicago by Harold Washington. If you haven't heard of this brother, please do your research. His political machine is the machine that Barack Obama duplicated to become president. Those coalitions, he worked David Axelrod, who was Barack Obama's political liaison. He was in the leadership of his ascendancy to the presidency. David Axelrod was part of Harold Washington's political machine here in Chicago, and that's how they just duplicated what Harold Washington did on a national level, and that's how Barack Obama got elected. But I know I'm diverting, but the most important thing that I'm trying to get people to see, right, is that our current reality, as it is now economically, right, was a function of social engineering by white people saying that we got too much too fast in 1968. All you got to do is look at the prison population from 1968 to now. You know what I'm saying? They dropped the drug. Dr. Williams, that wrote The Destruction of the Black Civilization, Chancellor Williams. He talks about that meeting that they had. They dropped heroin. Heroin was too strong. They came back with cocaine. Cocaine wasn't spreading fast enough. They came back with crack. Boom. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, they moved the manufacturing out of the city, and then all of a sudden, crime exploded. What did we do? We created millions of jobs because we started selling weed and crack to each other and killing each other. What types of jobs am I talking about? More police, more lawyers, more judges, more correctional officers, more liaisons in the school, more schools. You know what I mean? You see what I mean? And then the political spending that they did. You know what I mean? To create this atmosphere that we living in now. So all we have to do is stop looking at it like Europeans and start looking at it through our African eyes. And we got to open our eyes. If you follow the money and follow what I'm saying politically, you'll see why we in the economic position that we're in right now. They never meant to let us in. Oh, kumbaya. Yeah, you can ride in the front of the bus. That didn't cost their ass a dime. You can stay at our hotel. That made them money. You see what I mean? When integration happened, all black business suffered nationwide overnight. The Negro League shut down because of integration. You know what I'm saying? Look, right, we got to be prejudiced with our money. That's all we got to do. Be prejudiced with our money. Change our thinking and our reality change overnight. You know. But I just wanted to get that out. My fault, B. I know I was long-winded.
Nah, you good, bro, because we need to understand the issue in depth. That's the problem. A lot of us, we don't understand the issue in depth. A lot of us look at the surface. So, I love the way when you go in and you explain things, bro. But what you were saying is absolutely, the truth, because black people like to say, you know, I don't like to be political, but there's politics in everything in life.
Yes, sir.
Politicking is something, we call in the black community, when we sitting around, and we in the conscious community, they call it building. In the hood, we call it politic. I feel like nowadays black men shouldn't be sitting around and politicking about bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's politics even in the bullshit. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's cool to sit back and just kick back and shoot the breeze, because a lot of times a lot of good bills come from us sitting around just bullshit, and I feel like we need to see that. We need to understand that everything we deal with, there's politics in it, man. It's because of politics. We got taxes on food, and instead of you paying 50 cents for a candy bar, you got to pay 52 cents. All of that's politics. man.
Hell yeah. Like I said, politics is the business of spending your tax money. That's what it is. You know? So it don't matter if you want to be involved. Oh, I don't like it. You know? That none of that matters. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? None of that matters. They still gonna spend that tax money that they got from your family. They still gonna spend it. You know? But you know, I mean that's just the bottom line. It's no getting around it. You know,
Definitely.
I'm a bottom line thinker, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think bottom line pretty much all the time. And my family, you know, sometimes they get irritated with it because I try to get to the point quick as hell. You know what I'm saying? I just try to get to the point. I ain't for all that fluffy talk. You know what I'm saying? What is it? How can we change it? Is it good? Good. Let's keep it. Is it bad? No, let's scrap it and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? That's how I think. You know?
And I think that's why me and you get along so well, bro. Because I'm the same way, and a lot of times, you know, that can be troublesome for us, especially with our lady. You know, because
Oh yeah.
sometimes they be wanting us to listen, and we be like, okay, babe, get to the point. All right, I hear you, but what are you saying?
Right, right. Yeah,
You know what I'm
it
saying?
get me in trouble on a daily basis, you know what I'm saying? It get me in trouble on a daily basis, man. But man, look, man, you know, at the end of the day, fam, I don't got all of the answers. And this 70-30 rule that I'm promoting to the family tonight, you know, it's just a framework. We can continue to add on to it. I'm just trying to put the framework out there, so that we can all see that if we just take this one little practical approach to you know, number one, being prejudiced with our money, um, and then actually start funding things that we know we need, you know, then you know, I'd be more inclined to be even more involved on YouTube and getting my camera and getting out here in the world and you know, just trying to do more, trying to do more than I'm already doing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm on, bro.
Definitely, bro. And you know, I salute you, man, for coming through. You know, based on what everybody's saying, you bought, that presentation was needed, man. And when you first shared it with me, I definitely knew it was something that we needed because, you know, a lot of times we get caught up in theory dealing with this conscious community shit. And
Mm-hmm.
our heads get caught up in the clouds and then we end up sitting back not doing shit. So great show, bro. I'm glad, I was so happy I was able to catch up with you, the next day and get this out to the family because I definitely feel like it's important, not just for me and my family, but for everybody. Because
Mm-hmm.
we all trying to do better. And we all need to be a resource to one another. Like I said, even if I'm not the resource, I know you, brother, and you a resource. So you're a resource to me. So I could be a resource to somebody else with your information, bro. So I salute you, brother, for sure, for taking
Yes,
your
sir.
time and coming through, man, and just giving us some of your light, man, because it's damn sure needed, bro.
Yes, sir. Well, look, man, I again, man, I'm so appreciative that you gave me a chance to get it all the way out. You know, I had shared the premise and the idea with you know, a couple of other platforms, and I wasn't really able to build on it, but now it's out there in cyberspace, fam. You know what I'm saying? And so everybody know where I stand at and what I'm on. And you know, and then I just tried to quantify it and prove it to people that this ain't something I'm just pulling out my ass. Um, you know, I do the research, and I'm quite versed in the area, and I love to build with brothers on the topic, you know, in the future because I mean, you know, we didn't get a chance to cover everything, but like I said, it's a you know, it's a building, a stepping stone, I say, you know.
Definitely, bro. And
Yeah.
I definitely feel like you did your part, bro. And I feel like now what other brothers and sisters could do is just add on. And you could bring your expertise, and you always welcome here, bro, and you could always come back and you could share your thoughts. But I definitely feel like people should add on, and we could start going into other aspects, because like I said, financial literacy is that's we're in dire straits when it comes to that. So we definitely have to get down to that. Definitely.
Yeah,
Especially with
absolutely.
Donald Trump being the president and he's shutting shit down. So if we don't become business savvy and financially inclined, man, we gonna be really living in the woods and really living off grid, like people like to say. You know what I'm saying? Because we gonna be
Right,
homeless, and
right,
that's not what we want, because the government ain't we not gonna be able to run the white daddy no more. Because even white daddy, packing his shit up and moving on. You know.
mm-hmm. Yeah, man, and for people who live here in the state of Illinois, and people talking about, I ain't into politics and economics, man. Me and man's. Our governor this is going on 2 years now with no state budget. He down there sitting on $500 million that's supposed to go to Chicago public schools, you know, and people talking about some my plan won't work. Well, hell, the governor who you elected, his plan ain't working too good either. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if we not gonna draw together as a family now, I'm not trying to save everybody, man. I mean, like I said, I'll be willing to build with the people who want to build. You know what I mean? And then from there, we'll take it from there. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to build with the people who want to build, man. I feel really good about the conversation we had tonight, man. And once again, brother, thank you for allowing me to go in.
No doubt, brother. No doubt. And we definitely gonna have some more future shows and going into financial literacy, because like Ty Brown just said in the chat, this could be an ongoing subject. So salute to you again, bro. I know you want to get some rest. Got work tomorrow. Salute to everybody in the
Yes,
chat.
sir.
Salute to everybody who came through and showed some support. Anybody who came through in the middle of our bill, make sure y'all go back and y'all listen to it. Make sure y'all check out Brother Rob's 70/30 plan. It's very, very powerful, y'all. So make sure y'all go back, get that plan, get y'all pens and y'all papers out. This is one of them shows where we gotta take notes, family,
Wow.
because this is something that it can't be missed and it can't go over our heads. So, like I said, shout out to you again, brother. Shout out to everybody that came through. I'm your host, DS1 Ross. You just tuned in to Sheep Stay Sleep Live. Make sure y'all subscribe to Brother Rob. Um, Make sure y'all subscribe to everybody in the chat. Make sure y'all subscribe here, DS1 Alliance. Hit the bell for the future notifications. Till next time, family, y'all have a good night. Y'all have a great day at work tomorrow. Peace. Peace to you, Brother Rob. Peace to you and your foundation, brother.
Yes, sir. Peace to you, brother. Thank you, brother.
No doubt. Peace.
All right, peace.